Hello, 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 my beloved souls. Blessed be, blessed day. Welcome back. I'm Autumn, also known as the Enlightened Daughter, and welcome to Soul Sex. I know I haven't connected with you guys in a while, and I'm so sorry about that. I have been growing through a lot of the shifts and changes in life, as have we all, right? And so I only come forward when I feel really guided to. I didn't want to feel like I'm forcing content out there, right? And right now the collective is going through a big shift. I started feeling it a lot towards the end of last year, and it's just been amplifying and ramping up. And what I've been noticing, and I've spoken about this before, is a true desire for intimacy, right? And intimacy is not necessarily sexual, right? It's like intimacy and sex are not necessarily synonymous. It's like love and sex are not necessarily synonymous, right? Sex is an act, right? But intimacy does not have to have sexual content to it, right? I have an intimate relationship with my friends. I have an intimate relationship with my children, right? Very close. We talk, we communicate. There's affection, there's love, there's camaraderie, there's support, there's being seen, there's being heard. You do not need to have a sexual relationship for that necessarily to happen. However, having said that, if you are in a sexual relationship with someone, right, that's an important component as well as communication, right? It's it hurts my soul. It really hurts my soul. And I bust the chops with my clients all the time. And I literally, because I say this all the time, and I'm like, if you can be naked with someone and have like their genitals in your mouth, you should be able to have a conversation with them, right? Like if we can do all of these things together, right? Why can't we talk about stuff, right? Maybe I don't like that, or I'm not comfortable with that, or I'd like to explore other things and other options, right? We need to be able to communicate. And what I've been noticing a lot in the collective, especially with the divine masculines, right now, is a desire for intimacy. And I'm seeing a lot of divine masculines that are looking for deeper connections. And I started seeing that desire. I want to say the divine masculine desire for intimacy, I want to say started really amping up for me for what I saw at the end of 2022. But 2021 is when I started seeing a shift for people just wanting something more, right? People were getting tired of empty, of, using someone else's body. It's like, like a form of like self masturbation, right? Instead of me doing it myself, I'm just gonna go bang out this guy real quick or bang out this girl real quick to kind of get my nut off, but I'm not really connected, right? It's like sitting on your hand and, as a guy, you know how it is. You sit on your hand and hand starts going numb and then you start wanking it with the other hand, your non-dominant hand, because it feels a little different. It's like, it's that same thing. And people use each other for this all the time. I'm sure many of you have had sexual relations with someone and you felt absolutely depleted and empty afterwards, right? There was like nothing to it. It was a definite like a wham bam thank you ma'am kind of moment, right? And it goes both ways because men use women and women use men and men use men and women use women. It is what it is, right? People go through these phases of life, right? And so there's a desire for people to not just be the wham bam thank you ma'ams or misters, right? Not just be the late night calls. There's a desire to have a connection with someone, to have a closeness with someone, to be able to express yourself and have healthy conversations, to open up your heart and to be vulnerable. And I keep bringing up the divine masculine as not just the divine masculine energy, but also males, because a lot, half of my clients are males as well. Men need a safe space to communicate and express their feelings, right? Masculine energy needs a safe space, a sacred space to be able to feel weak sometimes and vulnerable, right? And I don't want to say weak. I'll say vulnerable because you're not weak because you're saying how you feel or because you don't have it in you today, right? Um, but you may feel a little, no, you can feel weak because you can feel a little disempowered. You can feel like you don't got it that day, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's like looking at couples and, they're like, oh, it's 50-50. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. I'm hoping, that when I meet my divine counterpart that, we're an 80-20, right? I'm with 80% of the stuff that they're with, and there's probably going to be 20 that I might have to kind of like deal with throughout my life. But is that 20% a non-negotiable? Or is it something that I'm cool with compromising on, right? Because there are non-negotiables that I have in my life, right? Like you can't be a crackhead, you can't be a pedophile, you can't be a dope fiend, right? These are non-negotiables for me, right? Something I'm not going to compromise on. So if I see that, like, hey, we're connecting, but one of those things is there, conversation is over, right? But maybe the 20% is they don't pick up after themselves, right? When they get undressed, like I don't know, they forget to, I don't know, say good night, or so, I don't know what it is. Like some little thing that you could probably just shrug your shoulder and get over because it's not that serious, right? That's gonna be your 20%. And when it comes to connection and intimacy, right? People just want to be seen. They want to be heard. This goes for men as well as women. This goes for masculines as well as feminines. Now, I will say the divine feminine energy and females on this planet are much more supported in their expressions of emotions, right? And I've spent most of my life in masculine energy. Thus, a large amount of my friends, my really close friends, are males, right? Because that was just an energy that I could understand. And a large part of why I have so many male friends is because they have a female sounding board that they can express themselves to, that they can feel vulnerable, that they can share their feelings with, that is not going to look at them crazy, that's going to give them an honest perspective, and is going to still love them at the end of that, right? A lot of the men in our culture do not feel supported to be vulnerable and to be honest about their feelings. And then when they do, we're either calling them a bitch or a simp, right? Not cute, not okay. So a desire for intimacy does not make them weak. It does not make them a simp. It does not mean that they're less than because they have a feeling. We're freaking human beings and we all have the same emotions. Literally, all have the same emotions in our body. It doesn't matter if you have a penis or a vagina or both or none, if that's a thing. But whatever. I don't know. The world we live in now, I just, whatever. Um, whatever. Um, So I'm seeing a desire for intimacy, a desire for connection, for people to be heard, to be vulnerable, to feel like they can express themselves, to feel like they're not going to be judged or criticized, right? That is a big desire right now. And so if you're dealing or with a divine masculine, like I'm giving you a heads up, like, hey, this is what your masculine needs from you right now. Not the judgment, not the criticism, not the comments, right? Sometimes, and I say this over and over again, not everybody's looking to be saved, right? I do spiritual calls, right? I do spiritual calls. Obviously, I'm a coach and I'm a reader, and a teacher and a healer, motivational speaker, and all that stuff. But the specific reason I created the spiritual calls or the soul call part of my coaching session is because coaching section, sorry, Mercury is still retrograde, is because I know not everybody can necessarily afford to go with me long term on their coaching process. And I know there's a lot of people out there that sometimes just need someone that's going to listen to them. Sometimes they just want to talk. Sometimes they need to get the shit out of their head that they think they're going crazy about. Or sometimes they just have questions and they don't know who to talk to, right? Like, I am not here to sit and judge and criticize and manipulate you. Like, that's not my task. I'm a child of the divine. I am a healer and I'm a coach and I'm a teacher and I'm a reader because those are the gifts that God gave to me, right? I encourage and I inspire. Those are my spiritual gifts that were given to me by the divine, right? And so that's why I show up doing all of this, not to sit in judgment, not to sit in criticism, but to just let you guys know, like, hey, there's somebody here that's going to hear you. There's somebody here that's going to love you. There's somebody here that's going to see you. There's somebody here that's going to support you. And I'm sorry if you're not finding it within your tribe, but guess what? You get to create a new tribe, right? You get that intimacy and that connection and that love and get poured into over here. That's what we do in this community. That's what I encourage in the High Vibe Tribe. That's why I pour so deeply into you guys, whether it's here or on the Enlightened Daughter or Instagram or Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, I try to just spread the love because you never know when that might be the only love the person got that day, right? I give compliments to people all the time. And the amount of people that just look like, I mean, it literally, like, especially, females, like, I give them a compliment, they're like taken aback, like, yeah, You look gorgeous. I love your hair. I love that outfit. Let's see a guy and I'm like, nice shape up, Poppy. Nice kicks. Yo, you look fresh today, you know? But it's like, why is it such a hard thing for us to pour into another person? Why is it such a hard thing to love another person, to give somebody a compliment, to make somebody feel good? Why is that a challenge? Why are we preventing people from expressing themselves? And then when we do encourage them to express themselves, turn around and using that same thing against them. Absolutely no respect for that. I have absolutely no respect for someone that you come to in confidence and love and you share your vulnerable moment with you. And the minute they turn around and throw that shit in your face. I am not with it. I do not respect it. I do not respect it in any way, shape, or form at all. I'm big on honesty, right? I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal. Those are my three things. You could have known me for 5 seconds. Though that's Autumn. She doesn't lie, she doesn't cheat, she doesn't steal. I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. I don't care if you like it or not. That's who I am, right? I stand in my truth. And so I don't give empty compliments. And I'm not the friend that's gonna sit there and put a battery in your back and gas you up and try to sugarcoat shit. No. If you look fat, I'm going to tell you you look fat. And if you're an asshole, I'm going to tell you you're an asshole. And if you were toxic and wrong, I'm going to tell you you're toxic and wrong. But I'm also going to be like, hey, these are the things we can do to make it better. Like, damn, you were dead wrong there. Like, maybe next time you could say it like this. Or, hey, you want to start taking walks with me in the morning so that we can try to work on your weight? Or maybe you should try to drink this or do this. Like, there is no judgment. There is love. We are a solution oriented family over here, right? And so if you need intimacy and you need communication, it's time for you to open up. And of course, you need a safe space to do that. Of course, you need a safe space to do that. You know, and if you can't find that within your own little village, tribe, or community, then you are welcome here because we're grown over here and we have conversations over here. And if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it. And we're not necessarily going to always agree or see eye to eye, but you should still be able to express yourself. And that's really what this is about at the end of the day, right? I tell my children all the time, don't lie to me about anything ever. I don't give a fuck what it is, big or small. Don't ever lie. Because one lie, you lie to me one time, guess what? Now I got to question every fucking thing you say to me afterwards. I don't want to have to question and doubt and wonder, is this the truth or that? No, I want to know everything. And my kids, tell me. Tell me everything. So I have all the details. I have all the information so I can have your back. Because even if you're wrong, I'm going to make it right. But I need to know a heads up. Don't have me out here looking crazy and like a fucking asshole. Tell me everything that went down. And then I got your back. And that goes for everybody in my tribe. Tell me the truth. Autumn, I hate it. I love it. It sucked. It's awful. It's wonderful. I miss him. I miss her. And I know that that's awful to say. Listen, we go through shit, right? Right now we're in this energy of Venus just went direct, right? And Venus retrograde brought up a lot of exes, a lot of old feelings, a lot of those feelings from the past, abandonment issues, separation anxiety, jealousy, any really low vibrational kind of like toxic energy that we hadn't dealt with or wounding from our past, especially when it came to the areas of the heart, money, and the home with Venus. But right now, where I'm really just talking about like intimacy and sexuality, that stuff was coming up, right? So maybe you heard from an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, or you found some old pictures, or you're sitting there just reminiscing about some of the good times you had. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? We heal and we grow through relationships on this planet. Fantastic, no problem. Having said that, they're your ex for a reason, right? They're your ex for a reason. What is the reason? Now, for some of you, the exes that have been coming back were from the far past, right? Years have gone by and maybe things have changed. That's when we use the beautiful gift of discernment gifted to us by the Most High God, to everyone, and we figure out, is this person really real or on the stay on the same bullshit, right? Like, are they coming correct today and then next week we're gonna be back in the old school, or is this a change? Have they been doing the inner work and the healing? Have they actually grown since that time when we were together? Right? For some of you, you're going to be revisiting that energy, and it'll be dope, right? There's going to be a connection. There's going to be growth. For others, obviously, if nothing has changed, nothing changes, right? And you need to remember that, and remember the reasons that you left the connection to begin with, right? I know sometimes we just have a lot of history with the person. A lot of time has gone by. You put in years and work and hours, and at the end of the day, we sometimes are more comfortable with the devil we know than the devil we don't, right? It's a comfortable pain, right? It's like you get like a pain in your knee and you just kind of walk it off, and you're walking and you can still kind of walk, but it kind of hurts every once in a while. Sometimes the pain goes away, sometimes it comes back, but you just kind of push through it, right? You don't have to push through with with your relationships, right? You don't have to suffer in order to be with someone. I think a lot of us forget that. Like, we don't suffering is like this human construct that we made up, this fake martyrdom. Like, you don't have to suffer on this planet. You don't have to suffer in your relationships. You don't have to suffer through life. Yes, we're going to be challenged and there's going to be delays and obstacles and stuff like that, but it's not about like suffering and all of us like putting ourselves on the freaking cross with Jesus. Like, he did that already. Like, 0 stars. I'm not a fan of that scene. I'm not happy that he got crucified, nor anyone else during that time, right? There's a reason we don't do that in these parts. Okay, so there's no need for you to start doing this, or for you to start sacrificing or feeling like, oh, well, I gave all these years, or I did all this stuff, or I invested mad money in them, or all this time, or we got kids together, or my family's going to say something, or my church is not going to like it, or I don't give a fuck about none of that. Are you happy? Are you content? Are you satisfied in your relationship? Is there a potential for you guys to move on, or are you forcing it because you don't feel like you have the power to move forward? And that's a lot of what happens as well, right? Especially if you've been in a long-term relationship for a while, or are married and your finances are tied together and things are not working out, and now you're trying to figure out, how am I going to make it on my own, right? We've depended on one another, right? Codependency for so long that now we're scared to be apart. We're scared of what life is going to be like without this person. So it's almost like I will continue to force myself to suffer because it's easier to suffer with them than the potential of what the other suffering is going to look like, the other sacrifices I'm going to have to make in order to release myself from this and to be happy. And so now that Venus has gone direct, guess what? All that old energy that came up to the forefront for you to think about, now Venus is going direct and giving you the clarity to be like, let me do something about this. Let me not be a victim. Let me take my power back. Let me see my toxicity. Let me see my neediness, or where I'm not communicating and I have unexpressed expectations and I've been holding back on my feelings, or I've been projecting my bullshit onto somebody else, or I never healed from that other relationship and so I brought that toxicity here, or maybe I need to be by myself at this time and I don't need to be with anybody. It's a lot of that too, and this desire for intimacy that's coming up. People are starting to realize, I don't have to be in a relationship with someone just because I want that. I can get it in other ways, right? Understanding intimacy and understanding that you can have it in other ways is really important and vital to your own well-being and happiness, as well as the other harmonious relationships, right? I have a lot of good friends, people that I pour into and people that pour into me, that I love dearly, passionately, without a doubt, right? Very intimate friends. I'm going to hug them. I'm going to kiss them on their cheek. We're going to have dinners. We're going to sit close to one another. We're going to hold hands. We're going to look eye to eye. We're going to share the things that are going on in our heart. These people mean the world to me. This is my tribe, right? You guys are my tribe. Like, when people reach out, I don't care if you guys are emailing me, DMing me here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it's at. I love to hear from you guys. I love to connect. I pray for you guys all the time, High Vibe Tribe. I do. Not just for the tribe that's physically around me or for the bloodline that I was born into. No, for the High Vibe Tribe. Because you guys all deserve these blessings. You guys all deserve that love, that connection, that intimacy, that communication. You deserve to have somebody that hears you, to feel you, and to know that you can communicate in a safe space. To know that there is someone that's going to love you despite whatever is going on in your mind, right? And it's funny because, you know, I I started soul sex because I wanted people to connect deeper to themselves and to have much more fulfilling sexual pleasure, right? If you connect deeper to your own soul, to your own being, and you understand yourself as a sovereign being and how divine and loved and luminous you are, you start attracting all of that energy into you, right? Into you and in your relationships and in your interactions during the day. And so now you have all this delicious magnetic energy. You're really tapped into yourself. You really understand. Your heart is open. You're feeling good. And now you've attracted a partner that you're going to do this sexual dance with. And again, you're attracting them. So they have that same delicious, high vibrational energy, love of themselves. Their cup is so full that they can pour into you. Your cup is so full that you can pour into them. And then, bam, ping to the moon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sex is incredible in and of itself. Sex with someone you love is no joke. And sex, when you bring the divine into it and you realize that you can start manifesting and creating the life that you want, plus get your nut off, plus have a harmonious relationship, man, listen, I am multi-orgasmic and I am here for it, right? I love it. If the only thing you're using sex for is to come, you are wasting your freaking energy and time, okay? Point blank simple. So, sorry, we need to communicate, right? We need to open up. We need to create a safe space for people. We need to let our divine masculines know, hey, it's okay to talk to me, right? And I'm not going to use it against you, and I'm not going to throw it in your face, and I'm not going to think lesser of you because you decided to come to me, right? Because when we are behaving like that, when we're sitting and we're looking at the masculines in our life like, damn, they're weak or they're disempowered or they can't make a decision or they sound, um I don't respect their emotions or their vulnerability. Guess what we do, right? We're shutting down that beautiful masculine essence. We've just created a hell for them, right? Like we're supposed to be giving each other heaven on earth. We're supposed to be in alignment. We're supposed to be pouring into one another. And then you take that or you use it against them. And all that is a sign on you. It doesn't make them look crazy for coming to you and being vulnerable and being honest. It makes you look crazy for using it against them. Narcissistic, toxic, nasty, petty, childish, manipulative. Like you're disgusting in that energy, right? You're just you taking your divine masculine energy, falsely created a safe space, and then use that energy against them. No respect. Says so much more about you than it ever could about them. Everyone deserves to have a safe space to be seen, to be heard, to feel loved, to be valued, to be deserving, to feel worthy, to be able to just imagine and to think, right? And some people sometimes, I'm telling you, most of the time I'm talking to people, people are not looking for advice. They just want someone who's going to listen to them. Because once you start saying shit out loud to yourself, you just start saying it out loud, you gain your own perspective, right? You start to think things through. You're like, oh, that sounds crazy when I say it out loud. Right. Okay. These are the thoughts, right? For those of you that don't have anyone to talk to, right? I tell you all the time, journal. Big fan. I got these motherfucking books all over my house. I got a little one in my book bag that I take with me every day in my purse. Like, I'm always writing. I have a journal on my freaking phone as well. I'm always writing stuff down because I don't want stuff sitting into my brain that needs to jump out and be on a piece of paper. No, I'm not blocking my energetic field that way. Recording, but I'm trying to like keep the kids occupied. I'm like, why don't I hear anything? Never a good thing when you're a mom, right? It's too quiet. You're like, why is it so quiet? Who's dead? Anyway, so intimacy. I need you guys to participate. I need you guys to start creating these spaces for each other. I need you guys to understand that communication is huge. And communication isn't me talking at you, right? Talking with you, it's talking to you. We're expressing how I feel. I am frustrated with this stuff, right? I'm feeling scared, I'm frustrated, I'm confused, I'm conflicted, right? And I'm having these feelings. And then when we're creating this safe space for someone to express themselves, we don't get to then sit and be defensive and judgmental and critical and unsupportive, or to start embodying all of it like it's like a freaking attack on us, right? Like, why can't somebody be having a bad day and be really, really frustrated and just want to talk about it and have nothing to do with you? And I get it, right? Humans are very self-absorbed, self-involved, even when they say they're not. It's like having a conversation with a child, right? Like a child witnesses an incident when they're young, their parents get divorced, right? And so they grow up thinking that the entire time that they're the reason their parents got divorced, right? Like children are very self-absorbed. Like, what does that have anything to do with you, right? This is between mommy and daddy. Adults were going through their shit, right? But children, that's their world, right? And so if they're there, they're kind of like, oh my God, this must be my fault because they were happy before I was born, right? Like, think about the thought process. We like to just go, oh, kids, but that same thought process goes into adulthood when we haven't dealt with it. And I know that for a fact because I deal with a lot of inner child wounding with my clients all the time. And it starts way back then, right? And so I have this beautiful human being in front of me that, from a soul level almost looks like a broken adult because they did not deal with their inner child wounding. And I'm not going to call them a broken adult because no one's ever broken, right? Every single one of you is perfect in the eyes of the divine, perfect in your imperfections. But I understand the need for intimacy. I understand the desire for communication. I understand um, wanting to be vulnerable and not feeling safe to do so, right? Especially when it comes to those that are very much in their masculine power or males. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm shedding and it's driving me crazy. Or males, you know? Sometimes it's like when you see infidelities, right? And then, the man is like, having an emotional affair basically with someone else because he's not able to do that in his own home or in his own relationship. He's not given the space to be weak or scared or to imagine or to just think out loud sometimes, right? It's like, damn, I wonder what would have happened if I ever followed through with this thing, or they're just daydreaming about stuff, and then here you come like, well, you need to be realistic, and what about this and what about that, and they didn't accomplish any goals and we don't have the money for that, and it's like, damn, just let him live, yo. Like, let the man live. Let the masculine live as well. I keep saying masculine energy because I want you guys to be very clear that this is not about gender when I'm talking specific. I'm talking about the divine masculines that I've seen. And again, I was in masculine energy most of my life. So just because I'm showing up in this world as a female, I was not on that female shit until about 2 weeks ago. It's still a fight, y'all. It's still a fight. Like, I wish that people weren't so judgmental and petty and that I didn't have to like worry about like doing hair and putting on makeup and like my outfit every day, that I could just come and channel these messages to you guys from the divine. But having said that, people can be petty, right? And I'm from New York and I'm not always stable, so you know not always the safest. Anyway, all right, let me tap in, see if there's anything more that needs to come through. No, all right, I think that's it. So let's create safe spaces for one another to have more intimacy, and let's learn how to communicate from an open, honest space without judgment or criticism. And understand that during this time with these transits, right, the things that are coming up are for you to heal, right? We got to feel it to heal it, people. We got to feel it to heal it. And when we see it, we can shift it. So don't be upset or frustrated or shut yourself down from the things that are coming into your awareness right now, right? Like, you're getting messages, you're getting this old wounding that's coming up, right? It's like that old football injury coming back, right? Why all of a sudden this energy coming back? What is it trying to teach me? What do I need to see? What can I learn from it so I can move on? Because when we don't deal with shit, it's gonna come back. right? So do you want it to come back in a nasty way, like that old football injury, and then all of a sudden it became like a cancer? Or do you want to kind of revisit this and be like, huh, that old football injury is coming back. Oh, that must have mean that I'm gaining weight. I need to start taking better care of my body. Like, what is it telling me? What is it telling me? Or I haven't moved on, or I'm frustrated, or I'm stuck in this energy, right? Our body, our lives are always speaking to us. Your body, especially if you have any discomfort anywhere in your body, like any hurts, pains, stiffness, anything like that, your body is giving you a message. And your soul was trying to give it to you before, and the universe was hinting to you, and you decided to dismiss it. So, guess what? When we don't deal with what's going on within our souls and our hearts, our body starts showing, right? So, like, let's say you're having pains in let's say you're having problems with your genitals, right? Like maybe you have a lot of vaginal dryness, or you're having a problem getting it up, or it's just really uncomfortable for you down there, right? Like sometimes it's insecurity, it's fear, it's not feeling safe and stable. There's old traumas that need to be worked out, right? Maybe we're scared to move forward. Maybe we're having financial issues. All of that stuff is affected down. That's root chakra stuff, right? Our hips, our legs, our knees, our feet, our ankles, our yoni, our penis, right? Like all of that is down there, right? And then as we start moving up, your sacral chakra, right? That's right like 2 inches below your belly button. And so that's that orange energy. And that also, that's our feminine energy, our divine feminine energy. That's that water element. And so that's going to be dealing with, like, for the females, like your ovaries and your menstrual cycle and um, all of those things. So it's important for you to tap into your body, right? You're getting headaches. Does your elbow hurt? Getting cricks in your neck, right? Like, what is it? For a while, I couldn't turn my neck for it. And I'm like, why am I having so much problems in my neck, And not being able to turn our neck is like sometimes we're not, we're unable to see the whole picture, or maybe we don't want to see the whole picture, right? Or if I'm having, a problem with my feet, like maybe I'm scared to move forward, or if I'm having, problems with my eyes, like maybe there's something I don't want to see, right? Like there's a spiritual answer for everything. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm not pretending to be one. I don't pretend to be one on TV, YouTube, none of that. I'm telling you from a spiritual, metaphysical standpoint, because that's what I do, right? I'm not a doctor. I am a reverend. I am a coach. I'm a teacher. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a doctor. I'm a healer, but I'm not a doctor. So anyway, gotta feel it to heal it, babies. So, if your body is talking to you, it's time to start asking your body what it's trying to tell you and why. And any stored emotions you got going on in your body because you do not feel comfortable speaking about them, or you don't have a safe space, will start to show up as a form of a dis-ease or illness in our physical avatar if we don't get it out. So once again, if you can, journal, 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 or call me, right? You can book a coaching session with me. Obviously, the spiritual calls are, you know, due to availability, right? So I don't know if you have an emergency tonight, you can call me tonight. If not, we could schedule a time for another time. It is what it is. Um, but I understand that, right? I also used to deal with suicide prevention and stuff like that. So I've dealt with a lot over the years, right? Of like worked with Planned Parenthood. I did suicide prevention for a long time. I always made it a point in my life to try to help people because it's just it's just innately to who I am, right? And I'm so grateful that God has used me as a vessel and a conduit for these channelings to coach and to inspire and to motivate and to encourage people, right? That's part of the reason that I created the Images Formula with my coaching team. It's part of the reason that I do this work every day, because it's really important to me for people to fall so deeply in love with themselves that they become the best version of themselves. For people to feel seen and to feel heard and to know that they're worthy and that they're valuable and that they're deserving, right? Because I know what it's like not to feel those things, right? I know what it's like not to receive those things. And so I come forward as the person that you may have needed, right? Because I'm the person that I needed when I was growing up. I'm the person that's going to see you and hear you and feel you and understand you and pour into you and support you and not have a hidden agenda or not try to have you fulfill the ideals for your life. You know what I mean? Like, I got you and I get it, right? And that's why I show up and that's why I keep showing up. So, anyway, that's it. think we're done with the intimacy and communication. But if you guys have anything to add, please comment below. Like, I love to hear your comments. I love when you guys interact. Email me if you want. You know, you can reach me at theenlighteneddaughter@gmail.com anytime you want, or at my website, theenlighteneddaughter.com. But that's it. I just want to just pop on, give you guys some love, give you guys some messages, some encouragement. Just letting you know what I'm seeing in the collective, you know. And again, if we're having issues when it comes to our sexual performance, a lot of that is going to go back to a lack of intimacy and a lack of communication, right? It's all full circle, guys. It's all full circle. We got to learn to talk, right? Open that good old throat chakra up. Yeah. I'm going to leave it there. I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. And I shall see you soon. Later, my beloveds.